All right, so today I have the pleasure of introducing one of my favorite Pythonistas and co-host of the meetup. Alan is going to tell us about Django custom management commands for both fun as well as profit.
Okay,
Alan.
thank you, Joan. Likewise. Um, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Do all Mac users ask that?
Yes.
I don't know. Is it the Mac users? I always forget what OS you guys are on. Okay, so everything's okay, right?
Good, good.
Okay, let's uh, let's begin. So, 1 second. Okay, let's begin. Yeah. So this talk is going to be very kind of beginner-friendly talk on Django custom management commands. So even if you've never really used Django, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to follow along. So Django is one of Python's most popular web frameworks, and its slogan is the web framework for perfectionists with deadlines, which is because of the fact that kind of a lot of stuff already comes out of the box with Django. It comes with a lot of um, kind of pre-made building blocks for stuff that most modern web applications need, which also then means that the framework is pretty opinionated, meaning it makes a lot of decisions for you. And it also kind of um, makes your applications follow a certain architectural pattern. And we see that architectural pattern here. It's called MVT, Model View Template. And this is kind of the way it works. So the user, and that's your end user, the user of your Django web application, goes to the URL in the browser. And when they go to the URL, the view function, Django's view function is called. And in Django, this is really where everything happens. So all of the logic, all of the computations that you will need for this particular website to work happen in the view function, or are called from the view function. And then the model layer in Django refers to Django's communication with the database. So then, as you can imagine, in the view function, you will then use the model to query the database for the data that you will need. And the data is then passed to the template, which is responsible for rendering the HTML and then displaying the final website to your user. So when I was a Django beginner, I was also a web development beginner. And I had a kind of ambitious project that I was working on. And one of my first questions after I got to understand this pattern was, okay, so what if I have a piece of code that doesn't belong in the view function? What if I have something that I don't want to be called from the view, but it's still a part of the application? So it's not a standalone Python script, it's a part of the Django application, and I wanted to have access to these other parts of the application. But I don't want it to be executed in the view function. I don't want it to be executed when the user visits the URL. So it turns out that Django also has a out-of-the-box solution for this very problem. And that's where Django management commands come in. So if you have ever used Django, you'll be familiar with those. The first time you run your web application and you want to see it in the browser on localhost, you will type python manage.py run server. And there's many more of those. And yeah, like I said, I'm sure you're familiar with that. But maybe not everybody knows that you can also register and write your own Django custom management commands. So how do I go about doing that? Well, like I said, Django kind of comes with a predetermined file and directory structure, which looks like this. And these are files generated for you when you're creating your apps. But this is what you have to manually create if you want to do register a custom management command. Have to create the management directory and then a commands directory inside it. And it has to look exactly like this, otherwise it won't work. But the command can be called whatever you want. So then how does that file look like? It looks like this. So I purposely made this kind of as bare bones as possible, the most minimal possible code I could find, just so that I could demonstrate kind of the fact that you could basically take any Python script and package it as a Django custom management command. You're free to do really whatever you like. All you need to do is inherit from this base command class from Django, and then you have to implement the handle method, which is where you put all your code, which is where you put anything you want, basically. And then you have the option to add arguments, kind of in the same way that you would do any other command line stuff in Python, which you might have already done. And then you have the option to add help text. And yeah, then obviously you call the command in the same way as all other management commands, and that's it. I'm pretty sure the 5 minutes is up. So yeah, now I would recommend the Django documentation. If you find this interesting, it's definitely it's a great place to start. I'm sure you'll be able to write your own in no time. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess I do have to mention that this is my website where I post kind of similar stuff, but maybe a little more advanced. And this is my email because, yeah, I guess I do have to mention that I'll be open to new projects pretty soon. So you can drop me an email regarding that. It's also the same email I use to coordinate talks for this meetup. So I'll take the opportunity to mention that again. And yeah, just write me if you think some of my takes on my blog are too controversial, or if you have some custom management command questions. And I'm pretty sure that's it. I'm sorry. I guess I was cheating because I had like the talk was 5 minutes, but then I had the addendum. Hope you're not mad about that. And okay, maybe Django custom management command questions.
I have a question about those commands. Can you run them from the admin web admin panel?
Yeah, well, I don't think that by default that's possible. But the thing with the admin is that it's really customizable, and you can, some people go as far as, adding all of their own CSS or whatever. So some people customize it like up to the point that it's almost unrecognizable. So, because that's possible. I don't know how much sense that makes, but yeah. So in theory, you could add anything to the admin, but I'm not sure. That would be a lot of work, and you rarely get a use case where that's something it makes sense to do. So what people usually do is they run them as cron jobs or something. Because you usually have to run them periodically or something. And if not, then you would just run them manually if it's something that you would really have to do once or twice.